on the NewsChannel 5 network. This is Score on Business.
Hey, welcome to Score on Business. I'm Pete Hendricks. I'm your host today, a serial entrepreneur. Hey, Score is here to help you get started with your business, and we, check out scorenashville.org. And so, our first guest today, Dr. Jeff Rice, is a medical practitioner, executive, and entrepreneur. He founded Healthcare Bluebook in 2007 to assist others in finding fair pricing for medical services when he learned about significantly different pricing for identical services. And thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
So Jeff, tell us how you help clients.
You bet. So our clients are employers who offer health insurance benefits to their employees. And what we found is our clients, most of them are self-funded on their insurance benefits. And they've seen, like many employers around the country, they see their prices going up for their health insurance year over year over year with no end in sight. They know that their employees' out-of-pocket costs are going up year over year over year. They know that the PPO networks that they have are not giving them a lot of value, and they create a lot of complexity, and patients are often confused about how those benefits work. And they also know that their patients aren't always getting the highest quality care. So what we do is we work with those employers to understand their culture, understand their employee base, understand their benefits, and then custom design programs to help them communicate with, educate, and engage their employees in being better consumers of healthcare. And there's a huge upside for them. What we can help them do is, first is that education and engagement, and we all know that that's a challenge for consumers to understand how the healthcare system works. But it's so important because depending on where you go for care, you can get really good, high quality care or low quality care, and most employees don't know that. And then, as you mentioned,
and you help them navigate that.
We help them navigate that. Yeah, we have a website, a mobile app, a phone line that they can call if they're not into technology, and make it really simple and easy for them to understand that. And as you mentioned on the intro, the price variations are enormous.
Yeah.
For example, when my own son needed surgery, as we have discussed previously, the same surgeon doing the same surgery can be $1,500 in one building and $15,000 to $25,000 in another. And so it's just, that's if an employee plays by the rules and stays in network for their care, they can still face 10x on the charges. So, so we provide that education, and there's games and incentive programs to make it fun for them to learn about this and understand what resources they have available. So ultimately, the employees know what's going on, they know how to navigate the system, they have tools on their phone in their pocket that they can simply and easily find the highest quality care and also get a fair price.
Right. And
ultimately, the employer can see through outcomes reports, here's what happened with my employees. They're doing a better job for themselves, saving on their out-of-pocket costs, getting higher quality care, and saving the employer money.
Oh yeah, which is, it's really important if you're an entrepreneur or you're a business person. You need to manage healthcare costs because they spiral out of control, and then as well as the out-of-pocket.
Yeah, and the healthcare costs is one of the fastest growing things for all employers, year over year for well over a decade and longer.
Right.
And it's behind staff and payroll, healthcare costs is one of the top line items in the budget.
Boy, it sure is for me. Okay, so I understand that Healthcare Bluebook bootstrapped your funding in the early years, and most entrepreneurs aren't going to get funding. So can you share some best practices on funding it yourself?
Yeah, as you said, some employers, some companies start with equity. They raise money from friends and family, or maybe they get a loan from friends and family. But bootstrapping really is just doing it under your own resources, and that is, do you have maybe you save some money to start a business. Maybe you had a previous business and sold it and you have a little capital to start a business and you want to reinvest in a new company or new idea. Or maybe you're working 2 jobs. And you work a day job and use the extra money that you can free up to start your business. But if you bootstrap your company, you really have to be focused and clear about what is your pathway to get your company off the ground and make sure it's successful. And two key things are very important. One is, you have to focus on your product and how you can efficiently and effectively get something that is good for the customer into the market quickly. And you want to work with clients right from the beginning because they're going to be a partner to help you build your product or service and provide revenue to help you get your company off the ground. So there are some benefits to doing that. There's some limitations. One of the benefits, believe it or not, it's a little paradoxical, but less capital can be a benefit.
Oh yeah.
Your mistakes will be smaller. You'll be much more focused. You won't do things that don't matter because you can't afford to, and you will make faster progress because you have to. And it forces you to work with clients earlier because you need revenue, and having that client input from day one is just invaluable because no matter how smart you are, how great your idea is, you always want to make it better by working with your customers, and we did that a lot. And when you bootstrap, you have another benefit. You have the flexibility to take the business where it needs to go and where you want it to go without external constraints.
Yeah, because when there are investors, angels or venture capitalists, that's not free money.
Yeah, so I mean, the limitations of bootstrapping is, you don't have unlimited money.
Yeah.
So, depending on what you're starting, some businesses require more capital. If you're going to get FDA approval for a drug, it's going to take many years and millions of dollars, and so most people wouldn't be able to bootstrap that. So that might be a limitation. Certainly fewer resources. But being able to have that independence and speed to market and flexibility can be a huge advantage for the entrepreneur.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. So talk to us about the importance of culture and core values and how to create and grow the right environment.
Yeah, you bet. So for me, starting with the purpose of the company and why you're doing what you're doing bridges right into the core values and your culture. That's how you're going to approach your work and get it there. So, my suggestion is if you're going to scale your business, you want to start on that early. If you have less than 10 employees, you typically know most of those employees. Most of them you've worked with before. They were friends or colleagues. And you're directly involved in all aspects of the business at that size for most companies. So it's not quite as, you don't have to be quite as intentional, but as soon as you start growing your business and getting beyond 10 employees, now you're not directly involved in everything. You're working with people you haven't worked with before. And so how are you going to know if those folks are a good fit for your team? How are you going to know, those folks need to make decisions. They need to work directly with clients, many of them. How are they going to know if they're using the right criteria to make decisions? So for us, it's always been, it's served us well to have that well defined so that as we're interviewing people, we can talk to them about what's important to us and how we approach our work and what our core values are. And if they share those values, that's great, it's a fit. And if they don't, then it might not be the right home for them. And then once they come on, that's how they approach their work. It's a guidepost. I have a decision, there's a client issue. What do we do? One of our core values is substance over splash. So do the thing that's important, not something just for a headline.
Right.
And so that really helps them make better decisions, and it's how you evaluate your employees as the years go by.
Yeah. Yeah, so what are some of the things you do to kind of make sure that the
culture
values
sticks?
Yeah.
Yes. So one thing is have it clearly defined. And obviously the culture of any company comes from the founder or entrepreneur. That's where it starts. But as we talked about, there's a team.
Yeah.
And so you want to involve the entire team in really defining that. Certainly the leadership team, hopefully the entire team, in documenting how do we want to approach our work? What's our agreement? We're a family, if you will. How are we going to treat each other? How are we going to treat customers? So defining it is the first step. And right behind that is making sure everybody lives it. So it is from the interview process. So before they even start at the company, it's already being introduced. It's part of training and onboarding. And then it's in every employee evaluation for feedback. It's in when decisions come up, particularly tough decisions. Well, let's go back to our values and make sure we're making decisions consistent with values. And then we do a lot at our organization around acknowledging employees that demonstrate the core values.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love what I'm hearing.
We have leaves of gratitude this fall, and every employee is encouraged to write a note of appreciation to their peers and colleagues about how they live the values and how they're helping customers and patients.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So, who can be an entrepreneur, and what does it take?
Yeah. For me, for entrepreneurship, there's really three things. You have to be optimistic. You have to be empowered and know that you can do something, and you have to have a purpose to go against. So if you think about optimism, if you watch the headlines, it's doom and gloom, right? The world's going downhill fast, and oh my goodness, the sky is falling in. But the reality is so much different.
Yeah.
There are problems today. There always have been problems. But if you look at the progress we've made as a society, we live 25 years longer, 50% longer than our great grandparents did.
Isn't that something?
And even our poorest people have televisions and running water and electricity, and most of them a mobile phone. And a few hundred years ago, Cornelius Vanderbilt, richest man on the planet, didn't have any of those things.
Right.
And so we have this endless progress, and they're working on technologies today that are going to be life-changing for energy and for food, etc. So you have to know, there are problems, but they can be solved. And so the second was empowerment. You can do it. Like, someone has to do it. Why not you? And if you don't think you can, you're not going to. But if you look at Edison, he tried 1,000 times for the light bulb, but he didn't say he failed 1,000 times. It just took 1,000 steps.
Okay. So, hey, we're going to go ahead and we're going to need to pull to a close for now. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Thank you. And thanks for being here.
You bet.
Okay.